In the year 2147, Earth stood on the brink of annihilation. The skies above major cities glowed with an eerie green hue, remnants of alien plasma bombardments that had devastated human defenses for nearly 3 decades. Humanity had faced many threats throughout its history, but nothing compared to the relentless onslaught of the Zyran Collective, a hive-minded alien race from a distant galaxy. Their ships, massive organic constructs that pulsed with living energy, dominated Earth's orbit, while their ground forces, towering insectoid warriors, pushed deeper into human territory with each passing day. Commander Elias Drake, leader of Earth's dwindling resistance, leaned over a tactical hologram in his underground command center. His sharp features were etched with exhaustion, his once pristine uniform now stained and worn. Around him, officers scrambled to coordinate scattered defense efforts, their faces pale under harsh fluorescent lights. The war had drained everything: resources, morale, hope itself. Yet despite it all, Elias remained steadfast, his piercing gray eyes reflecting both determination and sorrow. The Zyrans weren't merely invaders, they were survivors too. Their homeworld, ravaged by environmental collapse centuries ago, had forced them to seek new habitats across galaxies. They viewed humanity not as enemies but as obstacles, an inferior species occupying prime real estate needed for their survival. To them, this was no conquest, it was necessity. But to humans, it felt like extinction knocking at their door. As another wave of attacks battered what remained of Earth's orbital defenses, Elias clenched his fists. He knew conventional warfare wouldn't win this fight. The Zyrans' technology far surpassed anything humanity could muster, their numbers seemingly endless. Every battle won came at crippling costs, every victory Pyrrhic. It wasn't just soldiers dying, it was entire cities reduced to rubble, millions displaced or worse. The weight of leadership crushed him daily, yet he bore it because someone had to. But there was something else gnawing at Elias, a strange pattern emerging from intercepted Zyran communications. 4 months now, their transmissions carried unusual nuances beyond standard military orders. References to union, harmony, even phrases hinting at diplomacy rather than destruction. At first, he dismissed these anomalies as misinterpretations or propaganda meant to demoralize Earth's forces. But lately, they'd grown more frequent, more deliberate. Something was shifting among the enemy ranks, though whether it signaled hope or further devastation remained unclear. Elias turned away from the hologram, rubbing his temples as fatigue threatened to overwhelm him. Outside the bunker walls, explosions echoed faintly, reminders of how close the front lines had crept. Somewhere out there, amidst the chaos and carnage, lay answers, or perhaps choices no human should ever have to make. Whatever awaited humanity next, one thing became certain: the tide of this war would soon turn, though whether toward salvation or ruin, only time would tell. Amidst the turmoil of relentless battles, whispers began circulating through the corridors of Earth's fractured governments about a peculiar development within the Zyran hierarchy. Intelligence operatives, sifting through fragmented signals and cryptic messages, pieced together rumors of dissent within the alien ranks. The most intriguing tidbit was the emergence of a faction advocating for peace, a concept previously unimaginable among the Zyrans' militaristic society. Central to this movement was the enigmatic figure known only as the Alien Queen, whose identity and intentions remained shrouded in mystery. The Alien Queen, unlike her predecessors, seemed driven by motives beyond mere expansion and domination. Reports suggested she had ascended to power following a coup that deposed the previous leadership, which had unwaveringly pursued total war against humanity. Her rise sparked intrigue and speculation. Was she truly seeking an end to hostilities, or was this a cunning strategy to weaken Earth's resolve? The uncertainty gnawed at Commander Elias Drake, who found himself grappling with conflicting emotions, hope battling skepticism, curiosity wrestling fear. Further complicating matters was the nature of the Alien Queen's proposed solution to the conflict: marriage. Not just any union, but one between herself and a human representative. This revelation sent shockwaves through both human and Zyran societies. For the Zyrans, traditionally bound by strict hierarchical and biological imperatives, such a proposal defied centuries of cultural norms. Among humans, reactions ranged from outright disbelief to cautious optimism. Some saw it as a desperate ploy, others as a genuine opportunity for peace. Yet, underlying this bizarre diplomatic maneuver was a deeper narrative, one of shared desperation. Both species teetered on the edge of collapse, their futures hanging precariously in the balance. The Zyrans faced dwindling resources and mounting casualties. Their once mighty fleet stretched thin across star systems. Humans, meanwhile, struggled to rebuild shattered cities and replenish decimated populations. In this mutual vulnerability lay the kernel of possibility, a chance to rewrite the script of interstellar relations. Elias pondered these developments during long nights spent poring over intelligence reports. Each new piece of information painted a complex picture of the alien queen's character and motivations. She appeared neither wholly benevolent nor entirely manipulative, embodying instead a blend of pragmatism and idealism rare among leaders of either species. Perhaps, Elias mused, she recognized the futility of continued warfare and sought a radical alternative. Or perhaps she harbored ulterior designs, using matrimonial bonds as a Trojan horse to infiltrate and undermine human defenses. Regardless of her true intentions, the alien queen's gambit presented humanity with an unprecedented dilemma. Accepting her offer meant embracing the unknown, risking everything on the gamble that trust could bridge the chasm between two vastly different civilizations. Rejecting it, however, guaranteed the continuation of bloodshed, potentially sealing Earth's fate forever. As Elias stared at maps dotted with red markers indicating fallen territories, he realized the decision looming ahead transcended personal beliefs or political agendas. It was existential, a choice that would define not just the outcome of the war, but the very essence of what it meant to be human in a universe fraught with peril and promise. As the implications of the alien queen's proposal reverberated through Earth's fractured command structures, Commander Elias Drake found himself thrust into a vortex of introspection and responsibility. The weight of the decision rested heavily upon his shoulders, as he was not only the highest-ranking officer in the field but also symbolized humanity's resilience and determination. Initial briefings with his closest advisors revealed a spectrum of opinions, ranging from outright rejection to cautious acceptance. General Marlowe, his most trusted confidant, argued vehemently against entertaining the idea, citing the potential for catastrophic betrayal. "This is madness," he barked during one particularly heated session, slamming his fist onto the table. "We can't trust them, Elias. What if this is some elaborate trap?" Conversely, Dr. Elena Vasquez, the lead xenobiologist assigned to study Zyran physiology and culture, advocated for open dialogue. Her voice, calm yet insistent, cut through the tension. "We've exhausted every military option," she reasoned. "If there's even a sliver of truth to her intentions, we owe it to our people to explore it." Her words resonated deeply with Elias, who had witnessed firsthand the devastating toll the war had taken on innocent lives. He remembered the faces of children huddled in underground shelters, their wide eyes reflecting both terror and hope. Could he, in good conscience, dismiss an avenue that might spare them further suffering? The debate extended beyond the confines of the war room, spilling into public discourse as news of the alien queen's offer leaked to media outlets. Citizens, weary from decades of conflict, responded with a mixture of fascination and apprehension. Protesters gathered outside government buildings, holding placards that read, "Peace over pride," and "No deals with demons." Others organized vigils, praying for wisdom and guidance in navigating this unprecedented crossroads. Amidst this cacophony of voices, Elias grappled with his own doubts and fears. The thought of marrying an alien queen, of becoming a figurehead in an interspecies alliance, felt surreal, almost absurd. Yet, beneath the surface-level absurdity lay profound questions about identity, duty, and sacrifice. Late one evening, after dismissing his advisors, Elias retreated to his private quarters. Sitting alone in the dim light, he pulled out an old photograph of his family, taken years before the war began. His wife, Sarah, smiled warmly beside him, their young daughter nestled between them. Both were gone now, victims of an early Zyran assault that left him a widower and fatherless child. Grief welled up inside him, mingling with anger and guilt. Had he failed them? Would agreeing to the alien queen's terms honor their memory or tarnish it? His thoughts drifted to the countless soldiers under his command, men and women who looked to him for leadership and courage. What message would he send if he accepted? That humanity was willing to bend, to adapt, to seek understanding even when faced with incomprehensible adversaries? Or that they were weak, desperate enough to barter dignity for survival? Each scenario played out in his mind like scenes from a tragic opera, each note striking chords of doubt and resolve. In the quiet solitude, Elias acknowledged the complexity of emotions swirling within him. There was fear, not just for his life but for the future of his species. There was curiosity, too, about the alien queen herself. Who was she beyond the title? What drove her to propose such a radical solution? And then there was hope, fragile yet persistent, whispering that perhaps, just perhaps, this could be the beginning of something extraordinary. Something that transcended borders, biology, and millennia of mistrust. As dawn broke over the horizon, casting golden rays through the bunker's reinforced windows, Elias made a decision. He would meet with the alien queen, not as a suitor, but as a representative of humanity. If nothing else, he owed it to those who had fought and died to explore every possible path toward peace. With renewed determination, he prepared to step into uncharted territory, knowing full well that whatever lay ahead would test the limits of his courage, compassion, and conviction. The rendezvous point chosen for the historic meeting was a desolate asteroid floating in neutral space, its barren surface illuminated by the distant glow of a dying star. As Commander Elias Drake approached aboard a sleek human shuttle, flanked by a modest escort of fighter crafts, tension crackled in the air like static electricity. The Zyran delegation awaited him, their massive organic vessel pulsating softly, exuding an aura of both menace and majesty. Despite the overwhelming odds stacked against humanity, Elias maintained a stoic demeanor, his heart pounding beneath layers of armor and resolve. Descending from his shuttle, Elias took in the alien landscape around him. Jagged rocks jutted skyward like skeletal fingers, while fine dust swirled lazily in the low gravity. Ahead, a procession emerged from the Zyran ship, led by figures clad in shimmering bioarmor that shifted colors with each step. At their center stood the alien queen herself, taller than her entourage, her presence commanding yet oddly serene. Unlike the brutish warriors depicted in human propaganda, she possessed an elegance that transcended physical form. Her elongated limbs moved with fluid grace, her iridescent exoskeleton catching the dim light, casting prismatic reflections across the rocky terrain. Elias halted several meters away, his boots crunching audibly against the gravel. The silence stretched taut, broken only by the faint hum of energy fields surrounding both parties. Then, without preamble, the alien queen spoke, her voice resonating not through vocal cords but directly within Elias's mind, a telepathic communication that bypassed language barriers. "Commander Drake," she began, her mental tone measured yet warm. "You honor us with your presence." Startled but maintaining composure, Elias inclined his head slightly. "Your Majesty," he replied aloud, uncertain whether his words reached her conventionally or through similar psychic means. "I am here to hear your proposition." A ripple passed through the alien queen's entourage, subtle movements indicating surprise or perhaps amusement. Ignoring them, she stepped forward, closing half the distance between them. Up close, her features became clearer, faceted eyes that refracted light like gemstones, mandibles that clicked softly as she processed his response. "Proposition implies negotiation," she said, palettes of emotion coloring her thoughts. "What I offer is not a deal, but a union. A merging of destinies, for the sake of survival." Elias swallowed hard, feeling exposed under her penetrating gaze. He had rehearsed countless scenarios, anticipated various demands, but nothing prepared him for the raw sincerity emanating from her. Here stood a being who genuinely believed in the possibility of coexistence, who dared to dream beyond the confines of tradition and hostility. It unnerved him, challenged preconceived notions ingrained since childhood. "I represent billions of humans," Elias countered, striving to keep his voice steady. "Billions who have suffered greatly at the hands of your kind. How can I assure them that this union will bring peace, not subjugation?" The alien queen tilted her head, considering his question. "Trust must be earned, Commander. By both sides. My people are weary of war as yours are. We see now that conquest alone cannot sustain us. Only cooperation offers a future worth fighting for." She paused, extending a delicate limb toward him, palm upward in a gesture reminiscent of human supplication. "Join me, and together we shall forge a new path. One where neither side prevails over the other, but where both thrive." For a moment, Elias wavered, caught between duty and destiny. The enormity of her offer pressed down upon him, threatening to crush the fragile hope budding within. Yet, looking into her multifaceted eyes, he glimpsed something akin to vulnerability, a longing for connection that mirrored his own. Perhaps, buried beneath layers of distrust and animosity, lay common ground waiting to be cultivated. As the initial shock of the alien queen's proposal settled, Commander Elias Drake found himself grappling with the weight of expectations placed upon him. The rendezvous had ended without resolution, leaving both parties to retreat and contemplate the monumental decision ahead. Back on Earth, anticipation hung thick in the atmosphere, palpable in every conversation, broadcast, and whispered prayer. People watched and waited, their collective breath held as they pondered the fate of humanity resting on the shoulders of one man. Elias, sequestered in his quarters, wrestled with internal turmoil. Images of the alien queen lingered in his mind. Her regal bearing, the earnestness in her multifaceted eyes, the resonance of her telepathic voice echoing in his thoughts. He replayed their exchange repeatedly, dissecting each word, each nuance, searching for hidden meanings or veiled threats. Yet, no matter how he analyzed it, one undeniable truth emerged. The alien queen believed in the sincerity of her offer. Whether out of genuine conviction or calculated strategy, she viewed their potential union not merely as a cessation of hostilities but as a foundation for lasting peace. This realization brought little comfort. Instead, it compounded Elias's sense of isolation. Those around him, his advisors, fellow commanders, even world leaders, offered counsel rooted in practicality, strategy, and politics. They debated logistics, weighed risks, speculated outcomes. But none could truly understand the emotional labyrinth Elias navigated. How did one reconcile personal revulsion with global necessity? How did one balance instinctive distrust with the desperate need for salvation? During these solitary hours, memories surfaced unbidden, snapshots of happier times before the war consumed everything. He recalled laughter shared with Sarah, bedtime stories read to his daughter, lazy Sunday mornings filled with sunlight and coffee aromas. These fragments of normalcy contrasted starkly with the grim reality awaiting outside his door. War had stripped away so much, the innocence of youth, the sanctity of home, the simple joys of existence. Could accepting the alien queen's proposal restore any semblance of those lost treasures? Or would it merely replace one form of loss with another? Sleep eluded him, replaced by restless pacing and endless contemplation. Trust, the alien queen had said, must be earned by both sides. But trust required vulnerability, openness, faith, all commodities in short supply after decades of bloodshed. Could he, a soldier trained to anticipate betrayal, extend such faith to an alien entity whose motives remained partially obscured? More importantly, could he ask the same of humanity? Compounding these philosophical quandaries were practical concerns. What would this union entail beyond ceremonial gestures? Would he relocate to Zyran territory, immerse himself in their culture, learn their ways? Would children result from this alliance, hybrids bridging two disparate species? Such possibilities sparked equal measures of fascination and dread. Fascination because they hinted at unprecedented opportunities for growth and understanding. Dread because they demanded sacrifices few could comprehend, let alone endure. In quieter moments, Elias allowed himself to imagine the alien queen not as an adversary or politician, but as a sentient being seeking connection. Perhaps she, too, wrestled with doubts and fears, burdened by responsibilities thrust upon her by circumstance. Perhaps beneath her polished exterior lay scars similar to his own, wounds inflicted by war, grief carried silently, hopes tempered by realism. This empathy didn't diminish his caution, but it softened his perspective, reminding him that complexity existed on both sides of the divide. Outside his window, stars twinkled indifferently, oblivious to the drama unfolding below. They served as silent witnesses to humanity's plight, indifferent arbiters of fate. Yet, staring at them, Elias drew strength. Throughout history, humanity had faced extinction-level crises, only to emerge stronger, wiser, more resilient. Maybe this challenge, bizarre and daunting as it seemed, represented another evolutionary leap, not just technologically or socially, but emotionally. Maybe embracing the unknown, however terrifying, held the key to transcending limitations imposed by fear and prejudice. With dawn approaching, Elias finally collapsed onto his cot, physically and mentally drained. Tomorrow would bring fresh challenges, renewed debates, perhaps even a final verdict. For now, though, he surrendered to exhaustion, dreams weaving tapestries of possibilities, some hopeful, others harrowing. In sleep, boundaries blurred, allowing glimpses of alternate realities where humans and Zyrans coexisted peacefully, where love transcended species, where unity prevailed over division. When morning light filtered through his window, awakening him gently, Elias rose renewed, ready to face whatever trials lay ahead, armed with courage born of introspection and tempered by humility. When Commander Elias Drake returned to Earth, he carried with him not just the alien queen's proposal but a whirlwind of emotions that threatened to unravel the fragile coalition holding humanity together. News of the rendezvous spread rapidly, igniting debates that raged from military command centers to civilian households. Public opinion polarized sharply, with fervent supporters championing the potential for peace clashing against staunch opponents who viewed the proposition as capitulation. Protests erupted worldwide, some demanding immediate acceptance of the alien queen's terms, others insisting on rejecting what they deemed an affront to human dignity. Within governmental chambers, discussions grew increasingly acrimonious. World leaders convened emergency summits, attempting to forge consensus amidst divergent interests and ideologies. Diplomats argued passionately, their voices rising above parliamentary decorum as they grappled with the implications of endorsing or rejecting a union that defied conventional diplomacy. Military strategists presented stark assessments. Continue fighting and risk obliteration, or embrace uncertainty and gamble on an unprecedented alliance. Elias found himself at the epicenter of this maelstrom, subjected to scrutiny and pressure from all quarters. Allies urged him to leverage his position, asserting that his endorsement could sway undecided factions. Critics lambasted him publicly, accusing him of placing personal ambition above national security. Through it all, he maintained an outward facade of stoicism, though internally, the strain mounted exponentially. One evening, after another grueling session fraught with recriminations and ultimatums, Elias sought refuge in a secluded park near headquarters. Autumn leaves crunched beneath his boots as he wandered aimlessly, seeking solace in nature's indifference. Here, away from prying eyes and incessant demands, he permitted himself a rare moment of vulnerability. Leaning against a gnarled tree, he closed his eyes, listening to the rustle of wind through branches, the distant chirping of birds oblivious to terrestrial strife. It was here that Captain Lila Monroe, a longtime subordinate and confidant, located him. Approaching quietly, she hesitated before speaking, sensing his need for solitude yet unwilling to leave him alone entirely. "Sir," she began softly, "you shouldn't bear this burden by yourself." Elias opened his eyes, meeting her concerned gaze. Lila had been with him since the early days of the war, her loyalty unwavering despite the horrors they'd witnessed together. Now, standing before him in civilian attire, a rarity given their perpetual state of alert, she appeared more approachable, less the hardened soldier and more the compassionate friend. "I appreciate your concern, Lila," he replied, his voice tinged with weariness. "But this isn't something anyone else can shoulder. The decision rests solely with me." She nodded, understanding yet unconvinced. "That may be true, sir, but you're not alone in this fight. We've followed you through hell and back because we believe in your judgment. Let us help carry the load, even if only by sharing our thoughts." Moved by her sincerity, Elias gestured for her to join him. Together, they sat on a weathered bench, watching twilight descend over the cityscape. For a while, neither spoke, content to share companionable silence. Then, slowly, Elias began voicing his innermost fears and hopes, articulating doubts he'd kept locked away. Lila listened intently, offering occasional insights or reassurances when prompted. Their conversation continued late into the night, evolving from professional discourse to heartfelt dialogue. Lila shared anecdotes from her own experiences, highlighting instances where seemingly insurmountable challenges had yielded unexpected solutions. Her optimism proved infectious, gradually lifting some of the gloom enveloping Elias. By the time they parted ways, he felt marginally lighter, buoyed by renewed determination to navigate the treacherous waters ahead. Back at headquarters, preparations intensified as teams worked tirelessly to draft formal responses to the alien queen's proposal. Legal experts scrutinized every clause, ensuring safeguards were embedded to protect human interests. Scientists collaborated with xenobiologists, devising protocols for potential interspecies interactions. Meanwhile, psychological profiles of both Elias and the alien queen underwent rigorous analysis, aiming to predict compatibility and foresee potential pitfalls. Despite these meticulous efforts, uncertainties loomed large. How would the alien queen react to delays or counteroffers? Could mutual trust be established swiftly enough to prevent further escalation? Questions multiplied faster than answers, fueling anxiety among those tasked with implementation. Yet, amidst this chaotic backdrop, small victories emerged. Moments of clarity, bursts of innovation, flashes of camaraderie that reminded everyone involved why they persevered despite overwhelming odds. As days turned into weeks, momentum built inexorably toward a pivotal juncture. Messages exchanged between Earth and the Zyran Collective grew more frequent, each transmission laden with cautious optimism and guarded expectations. Representatives from both sides engaged in preliminary negotiations, laying groundwork for what promised to be a historic summit. Behind closed doors, plans crystallized, contingencies formulated, alliances strengthened. Through it all, Commander Elias Drake remained central, his role expanding beyond mere participant to linchpin of an endeavor that could redefine interstellar relations forever. With each briefing attended, each document reviewed, each decision made, he edged closer to confronting the ultimate test of leadership, not just managing conflict, but envisioning harmony where none previously existed. And though the path forward remained fraught with peril, he walked it resolutely, guided by a vision of peace that transcended borders, biology, and millennia of mistrust. In the shadowed corridors of Earth's command center, whispers circulated like ghostly echoes, painting vivid portraits of the alien queen's past actions and rumored motivations. Tales spun by intelligence operatives and battlefield survivors alike described her as a paradox, a ruthless tactician who orchestrated devastating assaults yet also a visionary leader who brokered truces among warring factions within the Zyran Collective. These narratives, fragmented and speculative, offered glimpses into a psyche shaped by adversity and ambition. Among the most compelling accounts came from Lieutenant Arjun Patel, a decorated pilot captured during a daring reconnaissance mission. Imprisoned aboard a Zyran cruiser, he claimed to have witnessed the alien queen personally intervening to halt executions of human prisoners. According to Arjun, she had stood tall amidst her imposing guards, her voice resonating with authority as she declared, "We do not exterminate, we assimilate." Though initially skeptical, Arjun recounted how subsequent treatment improved markedly, suggesting a shift in policy originating directly from her influence. Contrasting sharply with such anecdotes were chilling reports detailing her strategic brilliance in warfare. Analysts pointed to the infamous siege of New Chicago, where her forces employed innovative tactics that overwhelmed Earth's defenses. Using bioluminescent decoys to confuse radar systems and deploying nanobot swarms to disable critical infrastructure, the attack showcased her mastery of asymmetric warfare. Survivors spoke of glowing tendrils snaking through streets, consuming technology and leaving chaos in their wake, a testament to her ingenuity and ruthlessness. Yet, beneath these layers of achievement and aggression lay hints of deeper complexity. Xenopsychologists theorized that the alien queen's drive for unity stemmed from personal loss, a tragedy that forged her resolve to prevent further devastation. Fragments of intercepted communications hinted at a once-close bond with a sibling-turned-rival, whose death during a power struggle reportedly scarred her profoundly. This conjecture gained traction when decrypted messages revealed references to restoration and reconciliation, suggesting a desire to mend fractures not only within her own society but perhaps between species as well. Dr. Elena Vasquez, ever the meticulous researcher, delved deeper into Zyran cultural anthropology, uncovering fascinating parallels between their societal evolution and human history. She posited that the alien queen embodied a transitional figure, bridging ancient traditions with modern exigencies. Just as human monarchs historically married to secure alliances, so too might she view matrimony as a tool for forging lasting peace. However, unlike human counterparts constrained by gender roles, the alien queen wielded absolute power, making her proposal uniquely potent and perilous. These insights converged in Commander Elias Drake's consciousness, shaping his perception of the enigmatic ruler poised to alter humanity's destiny. Each story, each analysis added dimensions to her persona, transforming her from abstract antagonist to multidimensional entity capable of inspiring both admiration and apprehension. As Elias absorbed these revelations, he couldn't help but wonder about the woman behind the legend, the motivations driving her bold gambit, the vulnerabilities masked by imperial splendor. Late one night, surrounded by dossiers and data streams, Elias allowed himself to speculate. What if the alien queen's overtures weren't merely pragmatic maneuvers but genuine attempts at reconciliation? Could her experiences mirror his own, losses endured, lessons learned, hopes tempered by harsh realities? The thought unsettled him, challenging preconceived notions and stirring dormant curiosities. Perhaps, buried beneath layers of protocol and posturing, lay a kindred spirit yearning for connection, for redemption. This introspection fueled restless pacing, leading Elias to a seldom-used observation deck overlooking Earth's ravaged surface. From this vantage point, he gazed upon cities reduced to rubble, forests scorched bare, oceans polluted with debris. Yet, amid the desolation, signs of resilience persisted. Tent cities housing displaced families, makeshift farms sprouting amidst ruins, satellites transmitting messages of hope across continents. It struck him then, survival wasn't merely about enduring hardship but finding meaning within it. Maybe the alien queen understood this truth implicitly, viewing their potential union not as surrender but as symbiosis, a merging of strengths to overcome shared weaknesses. Returning to his quarters, Elias scribbled notes feverishly, capturing fleeting impressions before they dissolved into dreams. Tomorrow awaited fresh challenges, renewed debates, perhaps even decisive encounters. But tonight, cocooned in quiet reflection, he embraced ambiguity, recognizing that understanding often blossomed in spaces between certainties. With each revelation about the alien queen, he ventured further along a path paved with possibilities, navigating twists and turns that promised transformation, for better or worse. As Commander Elias Drake prepared for the upcoming summit with the alien queen, the atmosphere within Earth's command center buzzed with frenetic activity. Teams worked around the clock, fine-tuning protocols and contingency plans while diplomats crafted eloquent speeches designed to convey humanity's readiness for peace without appearing weak. Yet, underlying this facade of preparation simmered currents of dissent and intrigue, threatening to derail months of painstaking negotiations. General Marlowe, Elias's erstwhile ally turned vocal critic, spearheaded a clandestine movement opposing the Union. Operating under the guise of routine security checks, he orchestrated covert operations aimed at undermining trust between humans and Zyrans. Rumors swirled of sabotage attempts targeting joint research facilities and misinformation campaigns designed to paint the alien queen as duplicitous. Though lacking concrete evidence, Elias suspected foul play whenever minor setbacks occurred, delays in supply chains, glitches in communication networks, inexplicable malfunctions plaguing collaborative projects. Adding to the tension was the emergence of extremist groups capitalizing on public unease. Masked vigilantes calling themselves Guardians of Humanity launched targeted attacks against pro-alliance advocates, vandalizing properties and disseminating inflammatory rhetoric. Their anonymous broadcasts accused the alien queen of manipulating Elias, portraying him as a puppet dancing to alien strings. Fearful citizens rallied behind these provocateurs, amplifying divisions already fracturing society. Amidst this turmoil, Elias received an unexpected visitor. Ambassador Kale, a high-ranking Zyran official dispatched to facilitate final arrangements. Towering yet graceful, Kale exuded an air of quiet authority, his multifaceted eyes scanning surroundings with practiced precision. During their initial meeting, conducted in a secure chamber shielded from electronic eavesdropping, Kale broached sensitive topics with disarming candor. "Commander Drake," Kale began, his telepathic voice resonating softly within Elias's mind, "our queen harbors genuine aspirations for harmony. However, factions within our own ranks oppose her vision. Sabotage is not exclusive to your domain." Elias nodded grimly, unsurprised by the revelation. "We've encountered similar resistance here. Extremists exploit fear, sowing discord where unity should prevail." Kale inclined his head, acknowledging the parallel struggles. "Then let us unite against these shadows, Commander. Share intelligence, coordinate defenses. Together, we can expose those who seek to prolong conflict." Thus commenced a tentative collaboration, marked by cautious exchanges and mutual surveillance. Human operatives monitored Zyran communications, alert for signs of betrayal, while Kale's team scrutinized Earth's internal dynamics, identifying potential threats. This uneasy partnership yielded valuable insights, exposing hidden networks plotting against the summit. Arrests followed, quelling some unrest though failing to eliminate underlying tensions. Meanwhile, personal stakes escalated dramatically for Elias. Whispered accusations morphed into overt hostility, culminating in a dramatic confrontation during a televised address. Addressing a packed auditorium, Elias outlined benefits of pursuing peace, emphasizing shared goals over differences. Midway through his speech, a protester surged forward, brandishing a crude weapon fashioned from scrap metal. Chaos erupted as security personnel intervened, dragging the assailant away amidst cries of outrage. Shaken but resolute, Elias resumed speaking, his voice steadier than before. "Violence solves nothing," he declared, locking eyes with audience members visibly shaken by the interruption. "Fear blinds us to opportunities for growth. Let us choose courage over cowardice, dialogue over destruction." His impassioned plea resonated with many, galvanizing support for the summit. Yet, detractors seized upon the incident, twisting it into proof of instability, arguing that aligning with aliens invited chaos rather than order. Media outlets amplified these claims, broadcasting sensationalized reports that overshadowed substantive discussions. Behind closed doors, Elias confronted mounting pressures privately. Sleep evaded him, replaced by insomnia fueled by caffeine and adrenaline. He confided in Captain Lila Monroe, who remained steadfast despite growing risks. "They'll come after you harder now," she warned, her expression grim. Every move scrutinized, every word parsed for weakness. "I know," Elias replied, massaging his temples. "But backing down isn't an option. If anything, this strengthens my resolve." Lila squeezed his shoulder reassuringly. "Just remember, you're not alone. We've got your back, no matter what." Encouraged by her loyalty, Elias redoubled efforts, immersing himself in last-minute preparations. Rehearsing speeches, reviewing dossiers, conducting mock interviews, he left no stone unturned, determined to present humanity's best face. Simultaneously, he fortified personal defenses, aware that adversaries might exploit vulnerabilities exposed during public appearances. On the eve of the summit, restlessness gripped everyone involved. Final briefings stretched into early morning hours, punctuated by terse exchanges and anxious glances. Outside, crowds gathered, waving banners emblazoned with slogans ranging from hopeful to hostile. Lights flickered in adjacent buildings, illuminating faces etched with anticipation or apprehension. Elias stood alone on a balcony overlooking the scene, absorbing the magnitude of events unfolding below. Stars twinkled indifferently above, indifferent arbiters of fate witnessing humanity's pivotal moment. Drawing a deep breath, he turned back indoors, steeling himself for whatever tomorrow held. Whether triumph or tragedy awaited, he vowed to face it head-on, guided by principles forged in fire and tempered by experience. As dawn broke over the horizon, casting golden rays through reinforced windows, Elias descended to greet destiny. Surrounded by aides and guards, he embarked on a journey that transcended individual ambitions, carrying hopes and fears of billions. Whatever transpired in coming hours, one truth remained immutable. The course of history hinged on decisions made today, choices echoing across galaxies and generations.